Hey everybody, Doug here. Welcome back to yet another board game channel, where we will be starting yet another board game playthrough. And we'll be returning to the pulp adventure world of Fortune and Glory, the cliffhanger game. Played this once before on the channel, and we're going to do it again, this time going up against the mob instead of the Nazis. We'll see how that one goes for us. So, yeah, as always, not going to go over all of the rules right here and now. We'll just talk about some of them as we go, if necessary. There's plenty of other videos out there showing you how to play this thing. And you can even go back and watch my first one to see how it all goes. So, we are going to go over, I've done the setup, so you don't have to see me do all the shuffling and choosing and everything, but we will go over the results. Going to go with 3 randomly chosen heroes, adventurers. So, we're going to have, first of all, Li Mei Chen, the nightclub singer, who starts in Hong Kong. So she is, yeah, over there. See, her keywords are female, Chinese, social. There are all her stats. She's got 1 defense. She can take up to 4 wounds. Her abilities are martial arts. When you are not using a gun, once per fight round, you may either re-roll all of your missed fight dice rolls or force your opponent to re-roll one of their successful fight dice rolls. Also, stealth. Once per sneak test, we can re-roll a single die. And her flavor text is, I wouldn't do that if I were you. So we'll start with Lee, and then we have Alexander Cartwright, the reclusive novelist, who will be starting in Rio, down there. Male Drifter Strange. There's all his stats there. He can take a lot more wounds at 6. He's got 1 defense as well. His special ability is Resourceful. When drawing an event card, you can draw 2 and choose to keep 1. Yeah, gives a little more flexibility when the event cards come up. Also, Experience. May always exert to add extra adventure dice to a test, even if not in a cliffhanger. Normally, you can only do it during a cliffhanger, so that could be useful. I've seen things you wouldn't believe. And finally, starting up in Moscow, we have Dr. Zhukov, the Master of Science, male Russian science. Stats, he can take a lot of wounds as well. He's academic. In fights, he only hits on 5 or 6 instead of 4, 5, or 6. However, as a scientist, add +2 dice during any tech or puzzle test. That's good. And escape plan. May always use cunning when testing to escape a fight or collapsing temple. And his cunning is a nice big 5. In this age, science knows no bounds. Let's quickly go over our bad guys. We are, as I said, fighting the mob. Special rules: Intimidation. The Chicago mob are masters of intimidation and control through fear. It is well known that any who cross them will be made an example of. Basically, any ally who uses an activate ability has to roll a loyalty test. If they fail, yeah, the ability doesn't take place and the ally is discarded, disappearing into the night or possibly being bumped off by the mob. Lovely. Extortion. With a black market network of illegal dealings, the mob controls the price of goods and services throughout cities around the world. They always take their cut. So when buying gear or common items in cities, it's going to cost an extra 2 glory, unfortunately. Hideouts and Mob HQ. The mob is headquartered in Chicago, but creates new hideouts all over the world as they spread their territory and influence. Yes, they start with an HQ in Chicago, unsurprisingly. If we were to take that HQ out, we would randomly determine a new city for their HQ to be in afterwards. And they start with one randomly determined hideout, in this case, London. Also, mobster thugs. Yeah, unlike the Nazi organization, which has lots of henchmen, the mobsters only have 8, which could be a problem because they'll get to move up the victory track if we ever can't put another mobster out when time comes to do so. So, we'll see. Yes, Mob HQ. Right, as said, if the Mob HQ is destroyed, it respawns elsewhere. Yes, well, because of the Mob HQ, you roll a 4, 5, or 6. If we roll a 4, 5, or 6 during the outpost step, mobster spawns. The hideouts, yes, the hideouts generate 1 fortune per round for the villains, which could be bad because for every 3 fortune they have, they can move up their victory track. And then there's all the instructions for attacking a hideout. You've got to sneak past their surge of 8. So on and so forth. Yeah, we would fight mobsters if we don't sneak past, and each of the mobsters has defense +1. If we get through them all, we do destroy the HQ or outpost. Okay, that's it for heroes and villains. Now we will have a look and see what things around the globe we're going to go hunting for. Right, the first one is, we actually have 2 temples that came out. Yay. So there we go. In Greece, we have the Temple of the Golden Mummy. Let me just zoom out there, or the Valley of the Golden Mummy, rather. It's got 6 fortune that we can get a bit at a time by moving through it because it's a temple. And it's got a danger level of 3. There we go. Now we'll move on to Artifact B. Over here in Mexico, we will be searching for the Hammer of the Monkey God, which is worth 6. It's got a difficulty of 4, and unfortunately, because of the Monkey God, there's a curse on the hammer. During this adventure, your defense is reduced to 0 and may not be increased, so that will be a little bit tricky. Alright, next up. Alright, in Egypt, we were looking for the Mask of the Azure Jewel, which only has 2 danger, and will give us 5 to sell. So that's not a bad one to go for. It's a nice ratio of rewards to risk. That's what that looks like. And finally, one more temple. And finally, in Persia, where you'll notice we already have a villain, is the City of the Dead, which is worth 10. Well, because it's a temple, you get it 1 bit at a time. So, yeah. Oh, right, there's our escape requirements. Anyway. Right. After all dangers, you must fight and defeat zombies to get the artifact. So, well, we can still pick away at the fortune, because it is a temple, and we do it a bit at a time, but to actually claim the City of the Dead at the end, yes, we need to fight zombies. How lovely. Now, none of them ended up in deep jungle, so they'll all be worth the base. There won't be an extra 2 fortune for getting them. So that's pretty straightforward. And yeah, we'll have to go over our villains, especially as we have one already out on the board. Now, because I'm playing with 3 heroes, we've randomly chosen 2 of the possible villains. The third one might pop up at some point, depending on the villain event cards. But our first one, who gets to go straight out to the most valuable location, which is the City of the Dead, is Vanessa Love, seductive singer. There's her search in combat. She can take up to 5 wounds and has a defense of 1. Keywords: villain, female, mob. Her special ability is sabotage. Heroes in her space need 1 extra success on any tests. Blech. Oh well. And yeah, let's get a close-up of her in her slinky dress and a gun, because mobsters. And our second one, who is ready, not just waiting in the wings, hasn't actually gone out yet. There he is. He will go out at the end of the first villain phase. Franco Fedici, mob boss. His search in combat. He can take up to 9 wounds, but he has 0 defense. Villain, male, mob. Bodyguards. Anytime he would take a wound, roll a d6. Ignore that wound on a roll of 5 or 6. That's why he doesn't have any defense. He's got mooks to get between him and the bullets. Also, ambition. He gains +1 combat for each artifact that the villains have, so he could get extremely overpowered at some point. Let's try to nip that in the bud. Okay, I think that is all for setup. Just go over our win requirements for 3 characters in a cooperative game. The villain track, we lose if they get up to 15, and we win if we collect 30 fortune. Unfortunately, in co-op, you don't actually lose fortune in as many ways as you do if you're playing competitively. I think that is everything we need to go over for the setup. So yeah, let's get 1 or 2 turns done. We will start with the initiative phase. Alright, initiative, to see who goes first. I got 3 different dice here, so I can roll everybody at once. Going to say the green is Dr. Zukov, the white is Alexander Cartwright, and I've got an extra 1-off die that will be Li Mei Chen, which has actually got special writing. That's actually a 6. I got this at a local gaming convention a few years ago. Alright, so, and if anybody rolls a 1, they get an event card. Okay, well, Lee is going first because she rolled herself a 6, so we'll give her the first player token. And Dr. Zukov is going to get to draw an event card because he did roll a 1. If I could just reach. Event, physical. Play to immediately take any ally or gear card from a discard pile, or choose any unsold common item and roll a d6. Take that item if the roll is equal to or greater than its listed cost. A roll of 6 will always succeed regardless of the item's cost. Ooh, okay. Just going to take a quick look at the common items and decide which way to go. Yeah, given that it's going to be more expensive to get gear and allies, yeah, let's go with this bottom one and see if we can snag ourselves a common item for free. Going to try to get the torch, which would let us, once per fight round or test, re-roll one die or force an opponent to re-roll one of their fight dice. And then we may have to discard it depending on how we roll after that. So, yes, we want to roll, we've got even odds. We want to roll higher than the 3, so we need a 4, 5, or 6, and he'll just get that for free. Nope. 2. Ah, well. We gave it a go. Torch will go back into the common item pile, and we will move on to the movement phase. Okay, Lee is first, so she's going to roll for movement first. If we roll a 1 for anybody's movement, they also get an event card. So Lee first is, well, she's only going to move 1, but yeah, we'll just move her out into China in general. So she's not going to get much done, but she picks up Sandstorm. Sandstorm. Event, terrain, weather. Sorry, Mystery Science Theater 3000 reference. Play on any hero, enemy, or villain in a desert space. They immediately take d6 hits. Any temple there is buried, collapses, on the d6 roll of 4+. Or play while in a desert space during your adventure phase to gain 3 glory. Let's see, the desert space looks like, I'm just trying to find out. we could, yeah, we could play that right away on Vanessa, because she's in Persia, which, yep, is a desert space. And it would hurt her, and I think she just takes that, well, it takes that many hits, which means, yeah, I think the defense would count against that. It doesn't say take that many wounds, it says take that many hits, so her defense would block a hit. Well, she can still do that. Don't have to play it immediately. She can still do that on her adventure phase if she decides to. We'll see what happens with the others first. So next up, Alexander Cartwright, down in Rio, is going to move. I guess we'll probably have him head up to Mexico. That's the closest one, and we got a 4. So 1, Amazon Jungle. 2, Amazon Falls. 3, the Yucatan. 4, he made it to Mexico. He'll be able to adventure for the Hammer of the Monkey God. Nice. And finally, Dr. Zhukov also gets a 4. So we could have him head, we could have him go down to try to mess up Vanessa at what is it? The City of the Dead. That's what that one is. In Persia. I probably should have played the Sandstorm first because I don't know what's going to happen. Actually, you can play the card at any time, can't you? Yeah, because the or says during your adventure phase. Otherwise, it just says play. Okay. We're going to... I don't know if I'm allowed to do it out of order like this. I think I can. Anyway, we're going to do this. We're going to see what happens. We're going to cause a sandstorm on Vanessa and see if it actually destroys the City of the Dead. Oh yeah, the temple collapses on a roll of 4+, which means we are first going to do. We're going to put 3 wounds on her. Well, no, yes, 3 because her defense blocks 1. So Vanessa has 3 on it. And I just want to double check. Yeah, I think, does she have to roll an escape for that as it collapses or not? Hold on, let me check. Okay, finally found what happens when a temple collapses on a villain. They get wounds based on a die roll, so we may be able to KO her when she goes back, which will delay her a little bit. She did 4. Yes, so she goes back. KO will put her back on her character card lying down, which means it's going to take her to get rid of the wounds. She goes back to, she resets, and but yeah, it's going to take her longer to get back out on the board, so good for the sandstorm. Alright, having done that, Dr. Zukov will now move his 4. Which means he's actually only going to move 2, 1, 2, to visit the Valley of the Golden Mummy. I'll clear away all the City of the Dead stuff up on top, and we will go into our adventure phase. Okay, Lee, who is moving around through China, taking her a while, is going to just roll a die. On a 1, we'll have to draw an enemy card. On a 2 or 3, nothing, and on a 4, 5, or 6, she will get an event card. 3, nothing happens. So, pretty uneventful for Lee. Although at least she somehow managed to cause a sandstorm to happen and get rid of Vanessa. Alright, on to Alexander. Okay, it's our first time drawing a danger card, so we'll go ahead and give the deck a shuffle and draw from the bottom. We'll see what Alexander encounters. Ooh, an assassin. Danger. Keywords danger and assassin. Go figure. So 2 glory if he manages to get past. An assassin was sent to kill you. You must get closer. Try to catch the assassin in the act or outmaneuver them. So we can do either a cunning or agility test. We'd need 2 5s or 6s on a cunning roll or a single 6 on agility. Cunning's only 2 and his agility is 4. So even though it's a harder roll, I think we've got better odds if we roll his 4 dice. We just need 1, 6. And he got 2. Alright, so we're going to put 2 glory aside, decide whether or not to press on. Alright, and he gets one of these to indicate that he has made it past the first danger. On the Hammer of the Monkey God, we need 4. Yeah, okay, we're going to press on. What the heck? So, next up, stow away on a Zeppelin. Danger, flying, Nazi, sneak. It would be worth 4 glory. Sneak aboard or fight your way through. So, ooh, okay. Again, he's only got a cunning of 2, so we need to roll 3 5s or 6s, and of course we get to keep rolling as long as we roll 1 success. Or fight. Draw a Nazi enemy's card. If it is not keyword infantry, redraw, and guns may not be used during this fight. Yes, because the Zeppelin would explode, and you don't want that. Oh, combat's 3. You take quite a few wounds. Alright. We're going to try a fight. So let's draw the top card. So it has to be infantry. Nope, guard dogs, not infantry. So we'll discard that. Next we have, there we go, elite. Oh good, they'd be elite. Elite Nazi soldiers. Infantry, Nazi elite. Glory of 5. if we beat them. So if we do this, we'd get 9 glory. Fight dice 4, they take up to 3 wounds. Or we could try to, we could try to escape. Using agility. His agility is 4, which is actually better than his combat. Okay. We're going to try, what is it, the discretion is the better part of valor, and just try to escape from them. I'm going to roll his 4 agility dice and hope for a single 6 again. He did it. Nice. Okay. So I'm pretty sure we don't get the 5 glory because we didn't actually fight them. I'll look that up later. We might have more coming to him. We do also have, he does get another 4 for actually passing Stowaway on a Zeppelin, giving him 2 of the necessary 4. He's halfway. Oh, do we try once more? Yeah, okay, let's try once more. Underwater diving. Awesome. Danger, tech, water. It's worth 3 glory if we succeed. Oh, we're back to his cunning. Your search has led you to the water. Suit up in your heavy-duty diving suit and descend into the dark depths below the surface. We need 2 successes of 5. Yeah, we need 2 5s or 6s. We're going to roll his 2 cunning dice. Nope, he's failed that. Which means, unfortunately, he doesn't get any of that glory. Should have stopped while we were ahead. Which means we're going to be caught in cliffhanger. Giant squid attack. Jeez. Okay, he'll have to deal with that next round. He does still get the 2 successes. Moving through the adventure. So that will immediately end his turn, and we'll see how Dr. Zhukov does over in Greece. Okay, Dr. Zhukov, attempting to do is in the Valley of the Golden Mummy. And what danger does he encounter? Agents of evil, danger, villain, sneak. Worth 4 glory. It seems you're not the only one looking for this artifact. Draw a random villain and add them to the adventure. Great. Roll a sneak test to get past the villain. If successful, the danger is passed. If discovered, complete any fight rounds and then flip to the cliffhanger. Yeah. Okay. Just a moment. Right. I just wanted to check that random villain means from all of the remaining villains that are not in play, which means we might end up with a Nazi. I gathered the rationale behind it is basically the bad guys team up a little bit or subcontract each other. So we'll see. Oh, well, as it is. Well, that simplifies things. We got Icebox Eddie anyway, our last mob. Icebox Eddie's the hitman. Search 3, combat 5. Villain male mob. Killer. For each fight dice roll of 6 he gets, the enemy must either take an extra hit or discard an ally. Whoa, this is not good for, there we are. Eddie goes out. Not good for Dr. Zhukov because he's really not a fighter. So, now we have to roll a sneak test to get past the villain. Alright. So, what we do for sneak is we choose a number from 1 to 6. We roll 3 dice for Eddie's search value of 3, and for each number we get of that, we have to do a fight round. Just a single fight round. And yeah, so hopefully we sneak past. Right, I gotta pick a number first. We'll say 3. Nope. Okay. He got a 3. He spotted us. So we're going to have to do one fight round and then flip this over to its cliffhanger. So, fighting Eddie. Well, Zukov's combat is 4, although he only hits on a 5 or 6 instead of 4, 5, or 6 like everybody else. Eddie's got a combat of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so yes, as intended. White for our guys, green for the bad guys. Okay. Well, we did actually manage to get 2 hits in. So 5, 6. The 4 doesn't do us any good. Oops. Yeah. Eddie, on the other hand, got us, well, 4 times, as it turns out, because the 6 counts as 2. So each one has 2 defense. So Eddie will actually just take a single wound. We'll put that on his card. While Dr. Zhukov gets 3. Oh dear. 1, 2, and 3. So we're going to put 3 wounds onto Dr. Zhukov, who is going to get caught in a cliffhanger, buried alive, which we will resolve next time. Right, so on to, I think it is now the villain phase. Alright, first thing to do is roll for the Mob HQ's ability, and on a 4, 5, or 6, we will place a mobster thug in a random city. Yes, we rolled a 5. Of course we did. Alright, so we'll grab the location deck, and Paris. We've got a mobster lurking in Paris. Then, for each HQ, we've got, for each outpost that they have, the bad guys get a fortune. Can't cash that in yet, they need 3. Now, we're going to go through our villains one at a time. Yeah, let's go down to their cards. Okay, there's Vanessa. She, when they're KO'd, you actually turn them over. So she goes from KO'd to delayed. Franco is ready, so we're going to deploy him. We'll do that in a moment. And then Eddie will actually go on an adventure. So let's see where Franco's going to go. Okay, Franco. We check to see which artifact has the most fortune. It's a tie between the Valley of the Golden Mummy and the Hammer of the Monkey God at 6. So he would choose whichever one has less danger, which would be the Valley of the Golden Mummy at 3, but that is already occupied. So we go to the next one on the list, which means, yeah, Franco is going to go after the Hammer of the Monkey God and get in Alexander Cartwright's way. And now, Icebox Eddie, who is already deployed, is going to do some adventuring of his own. Okay, Eddie is going to roll his search, which would normally be 3, but he loses 1 for each hero present, which would be Dr. Zhukov, so he's only going to roll 2. On a 4, 5, or 6, he'll get some money from it, and also put a danger token on. Rolls any ones, he takes a wound, ignoring his damage. So roll low. No, he rolled high. Of course he did. So we're going to grab 2, which they're going to cash in right away with a third one. So, yep, they're on the board. The villains have got 1 point out of 15. We also put a couple of danger tokens on the temple. We don't roll to see if the temple collapses yet because there are, yeah, it's got a danger level of 3. So that means that's the end of the villain's turn. Yeah, this is not going our way. So we will finish it off with an end phase. Alright, first of all, worst news for us. I thought I double checked here. Yes, when villains are searching for artifacts, temple treasure pieces count as an artifact when collected and will move the track as such. However, the artifact adventure cards do not remain and are simply discarded upon collection. So they don't get points for finishing off the whole thing. They just get points every time they pick up any treasure, which is terrible. That counts as an artifact, which is going to move them up 2 more points, putting them at 3. This is already looking poorly. Well, maybe we can get better results next time. So, to finish off, we will need to replace our 4th artifact because the sandstorm took out the other temple. So, just going to grab Artifact Adventure, and we have, oh gee, it's another temple. They're so awkward. The Caverns of Power, which is going to be in the Forbidden Islands. Down to, oh, where's my, I need my little skull. There we are. So that'll be down there. We have another temple. And yeah, and we'll put the D on there so we know which one's which. That'll be worth 6. We'll just put that money out. And yeah, that will be it for this episode. Well, yeah, we'll leave it there as we did a bunch of setup, which made the episode longer. So we'll just leave it at that. Not off to a good start. We got two heroes and cliffhangers. Li Mei Chen doing very little. Just kind of hanging around China. And our bad guys already have 3 out of 15 points to win. Hopefully our luck turns next time. Thanks very much for watching. Thanks for subscribing and liking the videos, both on YouTube and Board Game Geek. I appreciate it. And we will see you next time for yet another round of Fortune and Glory, the cliffhanger game. So long.